week in phases, and sometimes it was a little bit sort of fiery, passionate, that sort of thing. Got into a few passionate sort of things, which was all very interesting. Yeah. So I don't know how your week has been going. So I just need to put up so I can see any comments that sort of come in and stuff like that. So yes, I wanted to go into the energies today, talk about a little bit about what's going on with the energies in regards to ourselves, obviously, but the greater picture more than anything else. And we are going into this year is going to be quite an amazing year, I think. It's certainly going to. It's a year you should be putting on your calendar, remembering this year, because it's going to be highly emotionally charged, I think. I was started saying this back in October, and I was sort of saying that the cycle 25 is going into the downturn. And the downturn is coming from moving from sunspots to filament energies, which is much more emotional sort of energies. And the thing that's driving it as well is the general change in the energies that has been talked about over the last 100 years, I guess. You know, you go back to the 1910s, 1920s, it was the Roaring Twenties, I think it was called. You know, and there was an understanding then already that there was a big change, and we had Rudolf Steiner, we had you know, a whole numerous amounts of people who you know, the ley line philosophy, the idea of energy lines that go across the earth really came to the fore with the long straight track, or the straight track, or by I always forget his name, Alfred Watkins, back in 1908. And so the idea of energies really did come to the surface around that sort of time, and it sort of like blew out in the sort of like 30s and 40s, which is understandable, and the 50s as well. The 50s got a little bit forgotten behind, and then the 60s came, and then obviously we had everything that went on in the 60s, which brought everything back up to the surface about energies and stuff like that. And since then, it's been progressing all the time, which developed into the well-being industry that we know today, all about energy. A lot of people know about this sort of thing. So, you know, this change is coming, and it's like sort of saying, I can't say this change happens tomorrow at 11 o'clock. That's not how it works. And that's why in the old text we talk about the idea that the time of revelation, or the time of this, could never really be said, because it can only really be pinpointed in retrospection rather than futurespection, because it is a transitional thing, and energy is constantly changing. You know, the dance of energy is perpetual. You know, it's eternal. That's what I guess the eternal life is all about, is being eternally involved in that swaying motions of the energies as they go forth, and you know, the tidal waves of the energies. So I think it's good to take a bigger picture of what is actually going on, and we certainly saw that in the energy update this week. I haven't seen the sun, the earth, sorry, the centre of the earth like this. I haven't seen the centre of the earth like this, you know, in this life. I can surmise to the idea that, you know, this energy is also at the same time, you can also, you know, I can surmise to the idea that, yeah, I'm, you know, I might have been incarnated when, you know, the last shift happened, you know, and we're talking sort of like 12,000 years ago, 24,000, 48,000, and the rest. So I think it's important for everybody to keep that in mind. Obviously, I've got, you know, I'm like everybody else. I've got a dog, I've got kids. I've got everything else to do. Got my daytime job, everything like that. So there's all that involved. So, it's keeping one eye on the bigger picture, but at the same time understanding that I've got a life to live. And I think the bigger picture, looking at what happened in the energy update when I've been to the center of the earth, I do want to go and do a further investigation on that. Of the center of the earth becoming a portal. And then, seriously, I've been looking at the end of the center of the earth, and I've just been looking at energy, and it's been like this beautiful sphere of energy, which is absolutely brilliant. And it hasn't really, I understand that there's a whole Akashic library attached to it and everything like that, and it's like a portal between one solar system and another and so forth in regards to sort of energy. I understand all of those sort of places, but here it's sort of like, it's almost as if like the center of the earth was sort of like unmasking itself, and it was opening up that sort of portal in the center of the earth. Now that I say that, and a lot of people can understand that, and a lot of people will say that's crazy. And I was born in London. I got my feet squarely on the ground, although I work as a healer every day. And I've seen loads of people over the last 3 weeks. It's been absolutely brilliant, that side of life. And it's a bit of a fantastical world. It's not your normal sort of 9 to 5 job. So, I'm caught between this paradox of this sort of like this 3D world that we live in, and also the other worlds that we do participate in. And the greater picture is starting to affect the overall energies a lot more. And the more it affects it, the more it affects in our individual lifetime on a daily basis. And to understand this, we have to understand a little bit about energy and how energy sort of works. Now, I talk about crossing points in the energy updates, and if you imagine, it's like normal electricity. You have a red and blue cable, and then you have an earth cable. Now that's the 3 energies: the vertical, the horizontal, and the directional. It's what I talk about all the time. The trilogy of energy. And this, so you get these 2 cables, like electricity, these 2 cables, and they come to a crossing point, and that's when they touch the earth cable, and then they go down into the earth, they recharge and come back out. And when energy does that, hang on a second. When energy does that, it's very difficult to control. You can't control the energy doing that. If you imagine that the crossing point is a little bit like a light bulb, and as those 2 points come together, it creates that light, and that's what creates that beautiful center of energy that we often find in the center of churches and chapels and temples and that sort of thing, because it attracts people like moths to a light. We're attracted to that central point of energy, and that gives that place of worship a stronger resonance, as it were. But so you can't really, and I think that's why there are temples on there and everything, because it is the source. You can't really control that energy, as it were. The best way to control the energy, and this is what geomancy is all about, is that you use, if you imagine the 2 lines going in to the crossing point, if I was to stick something like a lake on that line going in, and it's on, say, like a male line, it's going to reduce the male energy as it goes into the crossing point. And it's a bit like a dimmer switch on that sort of that light bulb, as it were. So, and we see this a lot with things like pyramids and so forth. And there's a multitude of things. When you go around churches, you often see there's a cross in one place, and it could be like a statue of Mary in another, and that's what you get in Europe, and that signifies the male and female and everything like that. And the more you have, so you have like war memorials and stuff like that, that are usually on mail lines. And that sort of influences it. It almost like enhances the energy that goes into it. And this is obviously affected, it affects villages, it affects towns, it affects a whole country. And this is where we get the chakra crossing points, which I talk about in the energy update a lot, which I did a map of, which is, it's like a stream contributes to a little river, and a river to a massive estuary at the end. And it's like these contribution of crossing points that make one big crossing point. A bit like a mandala, or the Tibetan drawings. I don't know off the top of my head what they're called. I do apologise. I'm sure someone will say. Scott, hi, how you doing, man? So lovely to see you here. I have actually can see the comments now. Up the Spiral. Yes, hello there, Up the Spiral. How you doing? Colorado here. Lovely to see you. Yeah, I'll try and keep an eye on the chats as they come through. You can ask questions anytime you like, as it were. I'll try and sort of fit them into the sort of energies and so forth. So these crossing points that I talk about in the energy updates and stuff like that. Let me just bring up, just so you can see here, just above my head here, you can see this map here. You'll be able to clock it on any of the energy updates, and you've got all the chakras and so forth that goes through the main energy lines. If you imagine they're like the freeways or the motorways or whatever fast route thing you call it in the world that is around you, they're like the really main energy lines, and size has nothing to do with it when it comes down to energy. Once you're connected to energy, you're connected to energy. You can't really get more connected to energy. And that's the same thing from within you and etc. Because you're a source point of energy. So you can't really affect the source point, but you can affect it outside of it, as it were. And when we go to the larger picture of what is going on, Francesca, hello, how you doing there from Durban? Lovely to see you down there in South Africa. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. Absolutely beautiful. Lovely to see all your comments as well, especially as well, sort of Scott as well, and everybody. All your comments are absolutely lovely to see. Yes, so yeah, lovely. Welcome to the chat, Francesca. The crossing points. What's happening here with the Earth? And I've been talking about pole shift energies and so forth. That's what appears to be coming through, and that's what I think. As the energy is starting to come from the center of the universe, or the galaxy that we're in actually, and it comes out in ripples like two arms that spin around the center, and they create waves, a bit like the waves of a boat as it goes through the water. And these waves hit all the solar systems as they go through the whole galaxy, as it were. And we are in the process of starting to have those waves get closer to us, and as they get closer to us, this is where the Earth becomes a focal point for this change of energy. And I think it is attracting a lot of attention from various places. Home and abroad, we might well say. Home and abroad. But at the end of the day, it's humans that are in the driving seat at the moment, and we've got to, be conscious of that. And I think the driving seat for us is actually an evolutionary process, and this comes back to that whole sort of common sense revolution that we're going through at the moment. And this year, as I said, this year is going to be highly emotional. I think there's going to be a lot more filament energies. I said that back in October on the energy updates. And it's because it is the year of truth, and we're coming into the year of Aquarius, or the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius comes off the back of the age of Pisces. And Pisces is the age of JC. If you know the stories of the the 2 fish and the 5 loaves, that's the story of Pisces and Virgo, or Bethlehem in old Hebrew is the baker's house, because she carries 5 sheaves of wheat. That's the 5 loaves, and that's what that sort of whole story is about. Before that, we had Moses and the golden bull, coming down, and he's sort of saying it's, you should no longer be thinking about the bull. It's now the time of Ramesses, of Aries, and that's when we move from Taurus to Ramesses and then Pisces. Now we're into the age of Aquarius. So welcome to the age of Aquarius. And Coral, good morning, Coral. How you doing? Lovely to see you. You're welcome. So yeah, we're into the age of Aquarius, and the Aquarius is all about John the Baptist, the water bearer. That's what we're moving into. So we're moving into truths, and these truths, it's not a truth, it's truths, and they're all coming to the surface. And I think this is when truth does come to the surface, it causes enormous amount of chaos. Because a lot of people are standing around kind of going, wow, do you know, really? Really? No. And it puts everybody's ideal of reality into question. So that's what causes the chaos. And then within the chaos, you're allowed to, that's when it's like everything's come from us and it's been liberated. And that's when the baptizing can be happening, when the water bearer can then, that's when Aquarius can help us to get rid of all the unseen, the non-truth. So we're left with common sense. And that's what that revolution is all about. And I think that's becoming more and more prevalent upon the energies within people as much within the collective. So it's all obviously, and everything's all connected with energy, totally all connected. So I think it's something that we need to get our heads around. I'm not going to talk about unless you want to talk about it, because at the end of the day, we are part of the solution. I don't, collectively we have the solution. And that's, we're all part of it, and discussing about these things makes, every day's a school day, as they say. We all learn and everything like that, I'm not going to go into the physical side. I want to go into the more sort of the, almost like the spirit and the energy side of things, and how we really engage in life. And engaging in the here and now, I think, is really important. And you may notice within the people that are around us, around you, on a daily basis, people that you know already, people that, that are within your community and what have you. These truths are just coming to the surface, and they will constantly come to the surface until we're up to speed and we can sort of, see the wood for the trees. As it were. And once we see the wood for the trees, that's going to be a bit of a revelation for everybody. And that's that whole energy that's coming in, that's creating the pole shift, that's creating all this opening up of portals and stuff like that. And it is a portal of change, there is no doubt about it. We have a great opportunity, collectively, individually, to evolve and progress enormously. So yes, it's beautiful to see. Beautiful to see. Let's just go into what I was talking about in the energy update. I was talking about we were moving from earth and fire energy through to air and water energy, which is Aquarius. And I was saying that the changing from Pluto, from Capricorn into Aquarius, is also one of those bells that's tolling for the change, as it were, and moving into into the age of Aquarius. This is the sun here. Let me just get this puppy out of the way. I'll put him up here. This is the sun here, as you can see, that's just around here. This is just over the last sort of 24 hours or so. And we had some eruptions that were going out, and you can see them over on this side here that are gradually going out of view or out of contact with us. What's that? Dissegment up the spiral. What's that? Dissegment? I'm not sure. Dissegment? Yeah, I can't. Maybe I'm reading it wrongly. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Up the spiral, but you know, if you have a question. Discernment. Oh right, yeah. Okay, so we've got to have a degree of discernment. Yeah, I think always. You know, I would definitely always have a degree of discernment. You know, I don't believe I know, and that used to be one of my sort of slogans, sort of saying, don't believe, just know. And sometimes, you know, you take things and you put it up on the shelf and you allow it to sit there till it starts corresponding with a lot of other things. And then you can move from discernment to moving into I know. So, you know, I've been looking at the sun for a long time. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I haven't got all the answers, but I certainly think there's certain correspondence with the elements and so forth that come off of the sun. So let's just go back to our sun. This is what the sun's been happening on the last few days. And I was talking about that filament eruption in the energy update, which is causing the air and water because it's not hitting the earth. And I can show you that by looking at let me just show you where going back to, let me just bring this up. Sorry about this, just a bit of technical stuff. Okay, this is just the eruptions that have been going on in the week, and we had a couple of eruptions that should have been coming our way. I said I think it was going to wane off to the south. I didn't think it was going to really hit us, and it was supposed to be hitting us around this sort of section here. This eruption here went off on that far right hand limb that I was talking about. I don't think that's going to do that much in the way of effect upon the earth, but it's missing. It's going from side to side, and it's creating, if you do that to yourself, you know, you can feel the air. You know what I mean? You're fanning yourself. And that's what the energy is doing at the moment. It's really fanning the earth, which is creating that air energy. So we're looking at these two eruptions that came off down here that was earlier on this week. And they were supposed to be coming through, as you can well see up here. These two or three little spikes. That's when it was supposed to be coming through. And if you follow it down, you can see it's supposed to be coming through on the 25th and the 26th. And that really hasn't happened. You know, that's the aura of the earth at the moment. And it is calm as anything. Really is calm. But that doesn't show everything. And a lot of the energies are coming up from the earth. And it's coming up in the way of air energy. And this is where we're starting to see other things, which is to do with the bigger picture. Now, this here is a wind map that we got here. We got the UK just up here. And the UK was just hit with a mini hurricane. You know, went across Northern Ireland. Hang on a second, no, that's not the one. I'll tell you why it's not the one. That's the one there. Okay, let me take it back to the beginning. Okay, so that thing up there is what came in and slammed in. Now, normally you get hurricanes, obviously, in the Caribbean, in the Gulf of Mexico, whatever, in that sort of area. And with pole shift, you're going to get a lot more slamming into this area here. And it's going to come in at different times because it's all to do with pole shift. And it's happening now. You know, this hurricane that sort of went through the UK in a way where they had over 110 mile an hour winds in general, and it went right up a little bit more than that, which is quite a lot for the UK. You know, it's not quite a full-blown hurricane, but it's certainly getting there. And that went through over the last couple of days. And then look what's coming up behind it is another one that's just about to hit the UK. And it does swing down to the south this time, but the whole sort of thing happens. And then you've got another one that's teeing up in this area here. Another one that's going to sweep through. It's going to hit a little bit lower, and there's a possible one building up that you can see up in this section here. I'm not sure that will come down. It will depend upon a lot of the energies that are coming from the Gulf Stream and so forth. But it certainly tees up a lot in the direction of the UK, and I think that's where that energy is coming through. That's flipping things round, and you may well notice it. You may well notice it in the world that is around you, in the people that are around you. You know, and you may notice a change in attitude that, you know, it's like they say that in the past, like the first will be last and the last will be first and all of that malarkey. You know, the world will be upside down, and it's sort of coming into that. You know, the roles of what we see in the political realms, the left seems to be becoming the right, and the right seems to be becoming the left. It's really weird in the world. You know, so there's a lot of that sort of energy that's coming through, and it, you know, I think it's something that we need to keep our heads up and see what's really going on with all of that. You know, be attentive to that. Be attentive to that. I wouldn't get swallowed up in the human matrix at all, but you know, I would certainly be very attentive to what is going on. So this is the sun that's over the last sort of 24 hours, and there has been an eruption here, which you can see down in that bottom left hand corner. Here it is enlarged, and that is a filament energy that's coming off of the sun. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. It rips off of the sun. Now there is a reason for that ripping off of the sun, which we'll see in a moment as it comes here. We come to this section here, and what can you see? You've got a corona hole above and a corona hole below. And that's where the filament energies, and that's that water energy, and that's the emotional energy that is going to be proactive within the mental stage, or the mental energy, which is that air energy. So this is where we need to be, and I did say it in the energy update as well, we do need to be a little bit more attentive to what is going on, you know, in our own personal mental state. So it is important to do things that you enjoy. I think that's like, it's almost should be like a prerequisite for life. You know, should be doing something that you enjoy, because it brings you back to a sense of well-being from within oneself. Just fundamental things, and that could be anything. I know Scott does a lot of music and stuff like that. Other people do a lot of sport and so forth. You know, there's a lot of things that we can actually do in order to sort of create that. There's also the meditation as well. There is also that other side, which I think we need to get our heads around, is maybe this is what you're talking about up the spiral. Discernment with the world around you. So you're not necessarily engulfed by what's happening in the human world, because it's transitory and it's not eternal, and it is just reflecting that change that's happening within the energies as well. And the more we're attentive of that, the more we can use this energy, just as I said, the crossing point, the wave of the energy that's coming from the galaxy, that is creating that crossing point on the Earth at some point. But before it turns up, you can use that energy in a really good way to help you engage in life in exactly what you should be doing. You know, and there's many people do things because they really enjoy doing it. I do this because I really enjoy doing it. I really don't do it because I'm making any money out of it. I can tell you that now. You know, YouTube is determined to take me out because they take off. I'm not going to go into it. Anyway, you know, but people do things because they really enjoy it. So I know Scott does a lot of that sort of thing. He spreads that joy and tries to help other people to engage in life in a very, very positive way. And I think that's what we're all here to do. And it's got, at some point, we've got to engage. And when we do engage, I think that's when it's going to ease that mental side of life for us. And once you ease that mental side and you take that energy out of that mental energy and you're much more within your body, that's when you can connect with that water energy, that emotional energy that sort of drives through us. So we've seen that eruption that's confirming the water or the air water energy that's going on. So if we go back to that sun here, and that eruption was down in this section here. The Earth is in this section here. So it's going away from the Earth, and it's behind the Earth. So I don't think it's going to do any interference. But what it has been doing is creating a larger coronal hole. That's what I think the energy is actually really doing for us here. And as it does open up that energy in this section here, may well, by the time this comes around to facing Earth, which will be around about Thursday, I would have thought, really, fully. And by that sort of stage there, we will be moving from the air, water, back into Earth energies. So it's a progressional and changing state constantly that's going on with the energies. How does it affect us? How does it affect your reading on as individual sort of with your readings for your weekly readings? Let me just bring up. There we go. Let me just go to there. Sorry, I'm just getting all the way up to there. Sorry, I'm just trying to work out my screens. Do apologise. Okay, so we've got moving from water, water and air into Earth again. We'll see if there's any other sort of eruptions going on. But that water and air, I think here is, for example, we're on Leo. I think that water and air is going to be really driving that Earth energy that is above there. And it's going to be, when you engage your mental and this is for Leos, engage your mental and your emotional sort of side in a real sort of direction, then you can start seeing the results. And maybe those are the results that are going to start coming through, for example. If we move on to Sagittarius, you get a similar sort of thing going on here with these two fixed energies as well. And it's going to give you that direction. So it may not actually give you the results, but it may give you that solid direction to take on the emotional side of life. You may also find that there is a progression from that air and water energy into your physical side of life. And you might see that coming around about Thursday, Friday, where things start really taking a direction, as it were, on the physical side, implementing your karmic path of what you should be doing. Okay? The next sign, let's just go, I'm going to go through all the signs. The next sign here is Aries. Obviously, all fire signs have this water-air connection up here. We don't have that water-air connection down at the base. You're only getting that on Sagittarius. But you do have this connection here, between here and there, and with the fixed air and fixed fire. But over on this side here, I think the more flexible that you can be in the implication or application of your karmic path on your spiritual side or your emotional sort of side, I think you'll find something. I think you'll find that the physical world responds by being a little bit more practical for you. That's what I think is going to be coming out this week for you. So you can see this, and according to your signs. Okay, let's move on to the next ones, and we got Scorpio. So Scorpio has got that water and air at their base, and they have a lot of air. You have a lot of air, Scorpios, enormous amount of airs, but you do have a lot of water as well. Look at all that water at the base there, and also you got that cardinal water as well from Capricorn that's coming in there as well. So from this side here, when you're getting on your relationship side, it's your interaction with the outside world, the synchronicities, which helps you to stand and be confident about yourself. And it's all about sort of self-love. I think here is where something gets, maybe something here in later stages of the week, something gets released in a physical sort of sense. So what might have been a bit of a blockage within your life, on the material side, so in activities you do, how you're really engaged with someone else, may you might find solutions. You might find solutions. How you apply that solution, it's not quite there yet. I think it gives you a real heads up of a solution that you can find within your karmic path, within your engagement with someone that is around you. And it could be tied into that sort of like, I think it was something about, could this be the love that you've been waiting for? I think that was your title. And this could be revealing that in the later stages of this week. So I'll be very attentive to that. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Let's just see there. I see there's loads of comments on there. I can't see them. Why can I not see them anymore? I can't. That's a bit annoying. Hi from New Mexico. Hello, New Mexico. I can't see it. It's so far away. My eyes have shot to pieces. I think there's a K in there. Is that Casey? Hello. How you doing? Lovely to see you from Mexico. Jet stream changes. Does this happen along with ley lines changing significantly? I think it's certainly happening a lot more. This is from Upheaval. Sorry, I do apologise, because I've normally got a screen here, and I thought it was going to be giving me the chats on a separate screen, and it's not, unfortunately. So I'm getting them now. That's KK Chamb. Okay, hi from New Mexico. AK Chakravism from Kim. Oh, hi Kim, how you doing? Yes, jet stream changes. I can now see it now. Do apologise. Does this happen along with ley lines energetically? As I said, I think it's to do with the pole shift. I think it's to do with the idea that the centres of energies are really changing at the moment, majorly. Yeah? And that is encouraging a change in the ley lines. I personally think we'll get it's like when you take an electrical current and you put the blue cable where normally the red cable will go, and you put the red cable where the blue cable will go. If you do that in a light, the light is still going to work. Just means the energy is going in a different way. And I think the chakras will still be working in the same way, but I think it will mean a change of central chakra points, possibly. And I've already said that the throat and the third eye, which is right up the top there, that's to do with the throat and the third eye has to do with a change, and it's gone to Mount Fuji in Japan, and I think it moves around. I think the third eye and the throat chakra moves around a lot more than any other chakras. But I think there's going to be a major change on that. Does it affect the Gulf Stream? I think the Gulf Stream is affected by the magnetic field of the Earth, yes. And also the interaction with the solar energies or the prana energy, because that's what we're talking about. Prana energy, upheaval. Yeah, sorry, you're laughing at the fact that I can see things now. Gee whiz, I'll tell you what, it's terrible. It really is. I do apologise. Yeah, so it's to do with the interaction at the same time. As much as the energies that are coming through the Earth, as it were, and how the Earth sort of works. Shall I just quickly go through? I'm just going to quickly go through the rest. So, yeah, I think that's sort of like going on for Scorpio. Uh, let's go on to Pisces. Pisces has got a lot of water energy going on with fire. You don't really have the air energy going on apart from down there, and the earth energy is through here. So I think here for you, I think it's more of a case of a transition into that sort of air energy that's coming in for you, that's going to make things a little bit more concrete within your relationship side, and certainly give you a little bit of a direction on your financial side. On Cancer, Cancer is another energy here that doesn't have a lot of air and water energies going through. Doesn't have a lot of that, as it were, going through. So it's sort of it's going to be how the earth energy is going to sort of square up to you on your financial side and make things a little bit more sort of practical, and it's a little bit easier to get on and be a little bit more consistent. On your relationship side, I think on this side here you get the mutable energies of the earth coming from Virgo. So I think on the relationship side, it's still to that be played with, most definitely, on this energy that comes on the latter stages of this week here. Okay, moving on to Taurus energy. So Taurus doesn't have a great deal of air and water energies either. It mainly only has it on this crossing point, which you can see somewhere at the top. It's somewhere up this section here, where you get the mutable energies that are coming through, and that's obviously a bit of a celebration. Maybe things are really freeing up for you, and you're noticing it in the world that is around you rather than actually within your individual life. Okay, moving on to Virgo. Let's see what's going on with Virgo. Let me just put it back up there. You do get a lot of water and air, and air energy, blowing through you. And the only water energy you really get is coming in through here. So it's been a transitional sort of thing as well for Virgos. I think very good energy for Virgos at the moment. There's a beautiful vibrational, it's very mental energies. And I think this is going to help you to be on the ball and a lot more flexible about what is going on in your life around you in a very physical sense. So you can adjust for situations with greater ease, as it were. Okay. On the Capricorns, same as Sagittarius. Look at that. Air and water, air and water, air and water. Absolutely phenomenal, really. A lot of energies coming through. And there's the only earth energy you've got, Capricorn, is on your surface. So it's going to give you, I think it's all to do with your inner vision. And I think it's how you apply your intuition within you and take a direction that is right for you more than anything else. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Aquarius, air. You can see all that air at the surface, water at the base. It's very much you energy. Age of Aquarius, and you've got that cardinal earth that's coming through. So I would almost take the heads up really from how it affects Aquarius. What it does is you've got this air energy, which is very mental, logical energy. You get that also at the base there that's running through the physical sort of side. But that water is really pulling up the emotions up to the surface. And especially with that cardinal water that comes in from Capricorn, which goes into cardinal earth, it's going to bring those emotional things to the surface and help you to enact the mental, emotional clarification you have within your life. And I was talking the week before about, getting your nuts and bolts in place before you actually engage the heart. And I think this is the first week here where we're really trying to engage that heart totally, that heart energy within life. Okay, on Gemini Gemini is a similar sort of thing. You've got no air in this sort of in your system. It's all sort of earth and fire mainly. There is a bit of water there that comes in from Cancer. But it's all about how the emotions come to the surface and actually engaging with your plan of action and really getting your plan of action into place. But it needs to be, you need to have, I think, because that earth energy that comes in is very fixed energy. It comes in from Taurus. I think it's going to be trying your emotions a little bit. And this is where you need to be a little bit flexible in the mental side of life. And this is where, you know, sort of doing activities which you enjoy and have pleasure for and so forth. I think that's really essential for you this week here. And it will help you to be a little bit more flexible with the world that is around you so it doesn't affect you too much more than anything else. Then we got Libra. Libra, pure air energy, because you've got that cardinal air energy that goes all the way around you, but you also do have this air energy that connects with this water energy that comes in from Scorpio as well on that section there. And you do have that combination of the water that comes in from Capricorn, the emotions that come in from Capricorn, with your own directional sort of thing. So I think actually it's going to give you, more than anything this week here, I think it's going to give you substance to the ideas or the intuitions that you might have about life, basically. I think that's where it's going to play in the most for you. So, yeah, there you go. That's all the signs. Let me just see if there's any more. If you've got any questions about, and it could be anything about energies and so forth, you know, you're more than welcome to ask. It'd be lovely to see. Oh, you don't. I don't have reading glasses. No, I don't actually. Coral, I don't have reading glasses. There's a reason for that, and that's because I believe that the moment you put reading glasses on, your eyesight just goes through the floor. I have also another thing as well, where I have this dot constantly within my vision that it's like and it just flickers lots of different colours. It's a little bit weird. I'm not sure what it is. I've never had it inspected. It doesn't really bother me, but it's sometimes just a little bit difficult to read something because I've got this dot that just goes all over the place. So yeah, do I? So you don't need glasses? No, I don't. Is the answer to that one. Cole, thank you very much. I don't mind glasses. I actually look like a good professor in glasses, I think. So I don't mind, but I just don't think it's very good for me. I think, you know, the more... When I started out doing healing, actually, one of the first things I was doing was working on the muscles that use the focal lengths within the eyes. And you can get some good results. I don't think, obviously you can't go back to when you were 20, but you can get a lot of results where you kind of go, you get an improvement. That's the word I'm looking for, an improvement in your eyes. And I think it's also the more that you use your eyes and engage with them, the better. You know, if you're stuck on a phone the whole time, yeah, your eyes are going to be fixed in one focal point, and it probably doesn't help sort of eyesight and stuff like that. That was a bit of a sidetrack, wasn't it? So yeah, yeah, I don't need glasses. I probably do need glasses, but I'm not going to wear them. Any other sort of questions on all of that? I'm going to investigate that portal, by the way, which I'm looking forward to doing. I think I'm going to investigate that portal and maybe take it off on a journey and see how we go and where we go to that. And, you know, where it goes to. It's still there. I went and had a look at it earlier on today. And it's definitely still there. And I had a peep through the portal, but I do need to, I think, go on a full forage and investigation as well. So I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. That's what every day's a learning day with energy. So yeah. Does anybody? Thank you very much for being here, by the way. It's been absolutely lovely to see everybody. I don't know if you've got any questions on how the energy is going to affect you. I think it's just sort of like, I think if we recap on it, be very attentive for the coming year, not just at the moment, but I think at the moment it's going to be very, I think it's going to reveal a lot of truths. Today, let's if we get it back down to sort of like, get it back down to the here and now. Today you may have felt like an increase in emotional energies when dealing with either internal mental situations or dealing with the outside world. You may have felt like there was an increase of emotional sort of state and heightened state of emotions. And I think that's going to be, it's like tidal wave. So there's coming and going of that. And I think tomorrow could be a little bit more sort of the air signs or the air energy, sorry. And then the emotions will come back on the Tuesday. And I think we'll get this to-ing and fro-ing each week, each day on this week. And then we'll start getting the earth energies that will start coming back in again, I think, around about sort of Thursday, Friday, as I said. And I think that's going to change everything as well. Okay, by which stage we would have had the energy update come back out as well. So, you know, I'd be very attentive to what is going on around. Embrace the truth. And sometimes it's not exactly what we want to hear. But when we recognize it, there's no going around it. Okay, so yeah, there you go. I don't know how long I've been going. I've been going pretty much an hour, haven't I? I don't want to I don't want to cause too much sort of like too much of a headache or make you think too much. But being involved with energy, I'm trying to do this video at the moment of how auras work. So I'm hoping to get that out next week, but it's complicated because I do need a lot of footage as well that goes along with it. Who's that? That someone just come through? KK Chambers, is that? Kim, sorry. Yeah, so hang on a second. Let me get it up on the other screen because I can't see it on the computer. It's absolutely terrible. What does it look like? So excited that I caught you live. Oh, great! So am I. I'm glad you caught me live. Yeah, thanks for your energy. So much appreciate you too as well, sort of Kim. Appreciate everybody that sort of like jumps in and sort of says hi and comments, and you comment loads. I've seen on the readings and everything like that. It's absolutely beautiful. You know, it's a lovely engagement by everybody because we're all part of it. And the better that we can all be, the better it is. So yeah, no, it's lovely to much appreciated you being here as well and everything like that. You know, did you all manage to see the energy update as well? Did you see when I was talking about the portal and everything like that? You know, did you have any questions on that? I've got loads of questions. I want to know who those two people were that I saw down there as well. I want to know what that soldiers were all about. I want to know where that portal goes. I'm going to be exploring all of that next week. You know, let me see. Thank you, Coral, for being here. Yes, thank you. I hope it's good down in Oz at the moment. It's a bit cold up here, but I hope it's good down in Oz. I've got so many friends down in Australia, and I should go and see them. You know, but it's all about organisation and finances. You know how it is. But yeah, lovely to see you, Coral. Thanks for you as well. I will see you all soon. I will see you during the energy update on Wednesday. Thanking you very much for everything you do for this channel, all the support you show us. It's absolutely beautiful. I will see you soon on the readings and etc. So in the meantime, I guess that's all for me left to say really is don't forget, life should be fun. So please do enjoy.